I'm Dr. Tim Lightfoot, the director of the Sidney and J.L. Huffines Institute for Sports Medicine and Human Performance, and I am pleased to welcome you all to the dedication of the Thornton McFerrin Coaching Academy. Absolutely. It's appropriate that we have wind today, because this is a new wind that is blowing on coaching across the country that's starting today. And so we're so pleased that you're here with us today to be a part of that. Today this is a great day in the history of Texas A&M as we celebrate the McFerrin family and their support of this center that focuses on preparing, assisting, and supporting coaches, both current and future. Today is a culmination of the first phase of the Coaching Academy that started in 2012 when the Huffines Institute, the Department of Health and Kinesiology, the College of Education and Human Development, and the Texas A&M Office of Undergraduate Studies financially teamed up to establish what would become the Thornton McFerrin Coaching Academy. And you know, if 4 different academic units put money together, they think it's important. So that was the foursome that started this. As it is with most efforts like this, there have been literally hundreds of people that have been involved to this point, including many donors, some of who are joining us today. And to all of them, we give a great thanks. We'd also like to recognize a few special guests that are with us today that have joined us for today's event. Of course, our guest of honor, Ms. Dorothy McFerrin. Dorothy's daughter and director of the Artie and Dorothy McFerrin Foundation, Jennifer McFerrin Bonner. Her husband, David Bonner, along with Lexi and Allie Bonner. President of Texas A&M, Dr. Kathy Banks. Texas A&M's Athletics Director, Mr. Ross Bjork. Texas A&M System Board of Regents member, Mr. Randy Brooks. And Student Regent, Ms. Maddie Rigsby. Brigadier General Joe Ramirez, Jr., Interim Vice President for Student Affairs. And President and CEO of the Texas A&M Foundation, Tyson Voelkel. So we're going to kick this all off by thanking the College of Education and Human Development for their support of our programs and our people. And as such, please join me in welcoming to the podium the Interim Dean of the College, Dr. MICHAEL de MIRANDA.
Well, thank you, Tim. Thank you very much. And a special thank you to everyone who is present today, especially for the privilege of your presence in being here to help us celebrate this important event. We've assembled not to inaugurate a new initiative, but rather to celebrate the growth and the beginning of the best chapter of our Coaching Academy. And I want to thank President Banks, Regent Randy Brooks, and Student Regent Maddie Rigsby for joining us as we celebrate and honor the generosity of Dorothy McFerrin. 159 years ago, this country embarked on its second grand experiment. The first was that we could self-govern in a democracy. The second was public education. It was a radical concept at the time that a college education might be made available to anyone who had the desire, dedication, and ability to learn, regardless of economic status. Senator Justin Morrill and President Abraham Lincoln were instrumental in launching this great experiment, and their vision led to the creation of the land-grant university that is Texas A&M University today. Now as then, the advancement of education, health, and human development are central to moving our university, state, and nation forward. The College of Education and Human Development remains absolutely mission-focused and will continue to lead and take up the challenge that come our way, just as all Aggies who preceded us have always done. Events like today remind us that higher education in this country has long been the focus of visionaries and philanthropists who understood the power of education to shape lives, and Dorothy McFerrin is no exception in her belief that higher education is a life-changing, life-shaping endeavor. The newly named Thornton McFerrin Coaching Academy is a testament to the reach and impact of a university and the influence it can have on a community through scholarship and mentorship. Students of this coaching academy will be well grounded in the theory, skills, and abilities needed to excel in their specific sport, but it is the incorporation of our Aggie core values that will set them apart in developing players and teachers into leaders. You see, coaching is both an art and a science, which is why the best coaches are always great teachers. Coaches do so much more. They are civic role models in the communities that they serve. They are often the ones who instill pride in hard work, collaboration, and giving it your best. Coaches teach us to play by the rules in a spirit of fairness and respect for others. They remind us that we didn't lose, but rather the other team was just a little bit better than us today. Or as Jimbo would say, we didn't lose, we just ran out of time. They are mentors, role models, and yes, they even teach us how to look good on game day. They teach us that we are students first and athletes second. As Dorothy McFerrin reminded us, for many students, their biggest influence in their lives is their coaches. Coaches are the mentors, leaders, and many times are the adults they spend the most time with during their school years. Coaches indeed understand the dynamics of the head and the heart, and they're able to inspire not only their athletes, but their teams to their fullest potential. In times of need, coaches serve us as guides and the light for so many. It's because of the significant role that coaches play in the lives of others that we acknowledge the need and opportunities that await the Thornton McFerrin Coaching Academy. I want to thank everyone once again for joining us on this incredible day. Now I want to introduce someone who is very familiar with the concept of vision and leadership and how together they shape the future. President Banks is the 26th president of Texas A&M University, one of the largest universities in the United States. She also serves as the Vice Chancellor of National Laboratories and the National Security Strategic Initiative for the Texas A&M University System. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my distinct pleasure to introduce President Katherine Banks.
Howdy. Howdy. I'm so honored to be here today to recognize Dorothy McFerrin in the memory of her beloved husband, Artie. Dorothy McFerrin has been an important part of Texas A&M for many years, and Artie was such an influence as a leader, a mentor, and a friend. I sincerely thank all of you for everything you've done for Texas A&M. Anyone on this campus can see the impact of the McFerrin legacy. From the chemical engineering department to numerous other examples, the McFerrin generosity to Texas A&M is unparalleled. Today, I'm honored to announce the latest extension of the McFerrin legacy to Texas A&M in the important area of coaching and sports leadership. When you hear the word coach, you often think of someone walking the sidelines or arguing with a referee. But coaches are so much more. Coaches inspire, mentor, and teach us. A good coach can push us to meet our potential. A great coach can get us to surpass it. I believe that sports are where many of us learned about perseverance, determination, and overcoming adversity. And these are the lessons we take with us long after we leave the playing field. But great coaches aren't born, they're made. Coaches at all levels need to be supported and trained, whether here at the highest levels of competition or in Little League. For almost a decade, the Texas A&M Coaching Academy has done that work. Coaches from all levels of athletics are trained to safely encourage and inspire athletes mentally and physically. This is a place of learning, of professional standards, of high expectations, and of public service. In short, the Academy exemplifies our Aggie core values. And in keeping with our deep connections with our armed forces, it offers a special program to educate, train, and certify veterans who wish to become coaches. The McFerrins always appreciated this mission, so they volunteered to generously support it. That's why I'm so pleased to see their name added to the Academy. And in recognition of his years of service in building the Academy to its current position of strength, I'm also pleased that joining the McFerrin name is that of Executive Director John Thornton. John is an Aggie legend. He was captain of the basketball team and a top scorer under Coach Metcalf. He led the Aggies to the 1975 Southwest Conference Championship. He was also an academic standout. He graduated summa cum laude in 1975 and went on to earn a master's degree in educational administration. John later served as assistant coach and was interim head coach. Then he turned his attention to academic administration. John's background in both academics and athletics make him the perfect leader for the Coaching Academy. The Thornton McFerrin Coaching Academy will stand not only for values that define this campus, it will also stand for individuals who have given so much to this university and to the cause of creating new leaders in every generation. Thank you, and giggle.
Thank you, Dr. Banks. As noted earlier, this effort would not have made it this far if it had not been the continual support, both spiritual and financial, of the Department of Health and Kinesiology, where the Coaching Academy has both a philosophical and curricular home. Please join me in welcoming the interim department head of the Department of Health and Kinesiology, Dr. Adam Berry.
Howdy. Howdy. Thank you for being here to help celebrate the naming of the Thornton McFerrin Coaching Academy. This is an exciting time for the Department of Health and Kinesiology, as well as the Coaching Academy, and I'm grateful to be here in person with you today. Let me first express my sincere appreciation to the McFerrin family. Thank you. At Texas A&M, we often talk about impact. This gift from the McFerrin family, this generous gift, will have a real-world impact on the lives of coaches, veterans, and educators who will then subsequently go on to influence the next generation of leaders and citizens in Texas as well as our nation. I want to also thank Dr. Thornton. Your continued thoughtful engagement and leadership was instrumental not only in the development of the Coaching Academy, but now its strong trajectory moving forward. I cannot wait to see firsthand the initiatives and programs continue to grow, develop, and go on to make a positive influence in this world. Lastly, I want to thank and introduce Dr. Melinda Sheffield-MOORE, the leader of the Department of Health and Kinesiology for the last 4 academic years. I had the pleasure of being her associate department head during that time and witnessed firsthand her dedication to the Coaching Academy and Dr. Thornton, and now its continued success and ability to flourish moving forward. Dr. Moore.
Howdy. So I really appreciate the opportunity to speak today, and it's so good to see so many friendly faces that I've gotten to know the last 4 years. As Aggies, we like to tell stories, and I'm going to make my speech a little lighter because I want to tell you about where we've come from to get here. And where we've come from is about 4.5 years ago, in my very first week as department head, and I saw Malcolm Stewart somewhere here. Malcolm, if you're out there. Malcolm opened his home to us, and it was a very intimate setting to be able to have and celebrate the beginnings of the Coaching Academy. And this was my first week on the job as the department head of HOKN. And so I'm in Malcolm's house, and it was just this fantastic event. But what made this event so noteworthy was not only was there some pretty big names there, right, Malcolm? I mean, we had Gary Kubiak and Jackie Sherrill and folks like that who came to show their support for this event. But we also had both Aggies and Longhorns there. In fact, Malcolm set up a little burnt orange table over in one of the rooms, and of course we kept all the TSIPs in that room. But as the night was coming to a close, John Thornton got up to give his talk. And for those of you that know John, he immediately had the room, listening intently. And he shared his vision of the coaching academy. And on that night, he showed us how passionate he was for the coaching academy, for leadership, to be able to instill leadership into our youth and the coaches that train our youth on the athletic fields in all sports, not just basketball. These past 4 years, John has coaxed, led, prodded all of us, both HOK and faculty, staff, graduate students, donors, and the A&M Foundation partners that helped us walk this path. This remarkable team has helped refine the offerings of the Coaching Academy. Modules for concussions and all sorts of things that affect athletes that play the sports that we love to watch. At each step, I joked it was like being at basketball practice with John being the coach and him just having us run the play over and over and over because he wanted us to reach the finish line. He wanted us to succeed. As John concluded his talk that night, the room was buzzing with energy, as you can imagine. A few short days later, we learned that both Aggies and Longhorns dug deep to support the Coaching Academy. Mrs. McFerrin, we're here today because of your generous gift and the impactful program that we know this can become and already is. Thank you. Lastly, I have no doubt that if John can convince a room full of Longhorns to support the Coaching Academy, that its many programs will positively impact coaches, veterans, and athletes alike, and I believe will be far-reaching. John, Mrs. McFerrin, your Coaching Academy team not only scored on that play, but scored an emphatic slam dunk. Gig 'em.
Thank you, Dr. Sheffield-Moore, for your support, your continued support over the years and all the help. I have been privileged to watch and be a part of the development of the Coaching Academy over the past 9 years. And it has struck me over and over again that without the right leader, coach, if you will, an effort like this never gets off the ground, much less puts down roots and becomes a permanent fixture at a place like Texas A&M. That's why I've never hesitated to note that the best hiring decision that I have ever been a part of was to coach a retired athletic director named John Thornton out of retirement to direct the fledgling Coaching Academy. Many of you know, and you've heard tonight, that Dr. Thornton is a Texas A&M legend, first as a much honored basketball player, then as a basketball coach, then as an athletic administrator where he oversaw student-athlete advising and welfare, and then as the athletic director that took us into the SEC. During this latter part of his career, Dr. Thornton and I had numerous conversations about supporting and developing coaches, conversations that started and formed the embryonic Coaching Academy. These conversations grew to where Dr. Thornton agreed to come out of retirement, to come off the bench essentially, to establish and guide the Coaching Academy, a decision for which we are all grateful for. Dr. Thornton has many accomplishments, many of which you've heard this evening already. He's been named an SEC basketball legend and inducted into the Texas A&M Hall of Honor in 2015 as just two of them. What may not be known is Dr. Thornton is a strong man of faith, a strong and loving husband to Lainey, and father to Gabe and Leslie and their spouses, Tamara and Davison, and a doting grandfather to 5 grandchildren whom he delights in spoiling and then giving them back to their parents. To me, most importantly, Dr. Thornton is a no-nonsense friend and colleague whose first question to me during my interview here, without even introducing himself, he said, "What do you plan to do for athletics if you get this job?" That was the first thing I heard from him. So it has been a delight, an honor, a pleasure, and many, many laughs as John worked to develop the Coaching Academy. And his friendship, I can truly say, is one of the best benefits I've had in working at Texas A&M. So it is now my great pleasure to call to the podium my friend, my colleague, and the director of the Thornton McFerrin Coaching Academy, Dr. John Thornton.
Wow. Some of that's true. Thank you, Tim. And thank you, Wendy and Jody, for helping pull this thing off. This effort has come together in spite of the weather, and appreciate that. Also, I'd like to thank Tyson and his group through the foundation for the work that they've put forth and contributed to this event. It doesn't come easy when you put this many people together and try to recognize people in the way they need to be recognized. As Tim noted, this all started as an exploration of a potential. With his help and insight, they had bets whether I could keep it together. I will. With his help and insight, creativity, and friendship, we're here today to celebrate this vision that's come to fruition. The conversation started with realizing a need and opportunity, the need being to support student athletes if they wanted to coach. The opportunity was to provide communities and exceptional teachers with exceptional teachers and coaches. From the vantage point that Bill Byrne provided when he allowed me to be a part of his team, I witnessed student athletes, for whatever reasons, well into their academic career or beyond, decide they wanted to coach. Tim and I explored the proposition that there was ways to encourage, support, and promote them. Here we are. A number of the student athletes have gone through our program, with the latest one being Devin Morris, a cornerback for the Fighting Texas Aggies 2020. Now a certified first-year middle school coach at Caldwell, Texas, who incidentally recently texted me, "I'm loving it." Actually, his game tonight's preventing him from being here. One thing I did not totally anticipate in this number was the number of undergrads from the general campus population that were in the same boat as student athletes. They discovered what they wanted to do late in their academic career, and they were in the process of deciding where their passion was. And if coaching and teaching was going to be it, we were going to be there for them. I'm so proud to update you with the fact that this year we have 52 members in our Student Coaches Association of undergrads. Representing these future coaches today are their group's officers and leaders, and if they're here, would they please stand? Haley, Chloe, Cameron, Kylie, and Parker. Thank you. Paramount in developing quality coaches and teachers could not have happened without the support of college education, human development, and the health and kinesiology department. It started with Dean Palmer and Dr. Kreider. It continued with Dean Alexander and Dr. Sheffield-MOORE. Oh, you guys. They helped fund the program. They sold the vision and allowed me to speak to donors that shared the vision. There's a few of them here tonight that were very instrumental, and there's so many people I'd like to thank, because you're here for some reason because you've supported this initiative. But there's some people that were very instrumental in the very beginning. Arno and Barbara Krebs, Steve and Kevin Morris, Rick and Sue Rickman, Rod and Ellen Thornton, Tom and Carolyn Adair, and a guy named Malcolm Stewart, who's the guy who gets responsibility for getting Longhorns to contribute to this event. If you ever go to an event he puts on, be ready, because he's good at it, I'm telling you. And also Mike Park and R.C. Slocum and Eddie Joe Davis, when we first explored this about middle of the 1990s, when we were trying to get this thing started, and it's really special to see this happening as it is. From the beginning, we have been allowed to grow, refine, and develop. We now have a staff, other than two guys with last name Thornton. We've gotten this better now with the support, and without having to make them stand up, I just want to mention them. Mike Thornton, he's assistant director. Program coordinators Richard Thurston and Nate Young. Parker Clay, John Heike, and also two Hall of Famers and All-Americans, Jessica Beard and Ty Warren. Not a bad group to develop this program going forward. I might add that Jessica Beard's graduating with a master's this semester. There you go. And Ty Warren is an intern in our program and responsible for heavy lifting. I want to thank you guys for what all y'all done. I'm not going to get in the weeds on that. I won't be able to make it. Inside, you'll have the opportunity to mingle with them and find out more of what they're all about and what the program is and consists of and where it's going to go. But what we're here for is a special day for a special lady. From the beginning, she saw the potential and behind the scenes supported the program in timely moments. She also, at opportune times, helped keep me focused and motivated. Probably not shocking to those who know her. One time, she compared my effort to a tortoise and the hare, legitimately. She legitimately said that to me. It didn't offend me because I've never been accused of being fast. Thankfully, she had the faith that we would get there. Finding motivation and developing something from scratch is not hard, especially if you have someone like Dorothy behind the scenes that understands the mission and believes in you. Thank you. We wouldn't be here without her benevolence and support and insightfulness. And from my experiences with coaches through my career, they often use the term. Gary Blair probably used this a few times, I think. Gary? And Gail, Pat probably did the same. In describing recruitment or admissions, they would call their student athletes difference makers. We really got to get these people here. They're difference makers. We've heard that over and over and over again. And it's truthful. That title, difference makers, is perfect fit for Dorothy, Jennifer, and the family. In particular, their thoughtfulness and generosity will continue to make a difference as we grow and impact coaches and individuals and the communities they touch. I can't thank you guys enough. To close the celebration of this gift and truly a unique program that we've created, we've got a lot of things to be proud of, but what we're proudest of, it was the original foundation of this, and it's what our undergrad coaches that we bring out. And I've got a guy here that's going to represent the groups that have come through this campus and touched us as coaches and teachers, but we've touched them hopefully in a little bit. This guy's going to be a star no matter what anyway, but we'll take credit for him. It's Edgar DeLuna from Eagle Pass, Texas, class of 2017. He's currently a teacher coach at Welborn Middle School. Got to know him about 5-6 years ago, I would imagine. And he's now coaching football, basketball, track and field, and he assists with the varsity, who he corrected me. I have written down here they're 7-0 at College Station. They're 8-0. And they're ranked number 2 in the nation? No. Not what? State. I'm not state. 2 in state. Yes, sir. Okay, I'm glad I got that right. Well, with that, would you welcome Edgar DeLuna?
Howdy. It's a pleasure to be here this evening as we honor the generosity of Mrs. McFerrin and Dr. John Thornton. This dedication is only right as it highlights their commitment in changing and molding the lives of young coaches in our profession. I want to take a moment and thank all of you in attendance today, including the College of Education and Human Development, those that have and continue to support the Coaching Academy, those that have and continue to support current coaches, and Mrs. McFerrin. When Dr. Thornton sent me a text and asked me to speak a couple of weeks ago, I did not hesitate. I responded with a simple yes. I knew I'd get more details later. You can talk about the Coaching Academy and what it means to you and others, was his response. Easy, I thought. I can talk about the greatness of the Coaching Academy for hours, until he responded with, you have 2 minutes. You see, as a first-generation college graduate, wanting to be a coach was just that, an idea. The finish line was quickly approaching, and I had no idea how I was going to make that happen. Then after much prayer, I ran across the Coaching Academy. This was my lighthouse, and I was a small boat stuck at sea in the middle of a storm. Shortly after meeting Dr. Thornton, I soaked in any coaching advice, coaching opportunities they offered, and learned how to create and foster relationships. Looking back now, I am so thankful for the Coaching Academy, because without them, I would not be the coach I am today. The Coaching Academy gave me hope back then, and it still gives me hope today. Too often, nowadays, our profession comes under fire in our society. There aren't many good coaches out there anymore. It's something you hear on social media and sometimes around town. I disagree, because the Coaching Academy pours wisdom into aspiring coaches. They provide hands-on experience before graduation and continued education for current coaches anywhere in the state. The Coaching Academy is giving hope and life to our profession. The impact the Coaching Academy is making on our profession will shape and mold America's next greatest generation. I have witnessed the continued growth that the Coaching Academy has made during the last several years, and I'm very excited for all the coaches in our profession. I am even more excited about the kind of impact the Thornton McFerrin Coaching Academy will make across our state. Thanks, and gig 'em.
Thank you, Edgar. I think you can all agree with me that the Coaching Academy will quickly establish itself nationally with students like Edgar involved and graduating. So thank you again, Edgar. So again, thank you for being here. We appreciate you taking your time to be with us. Again, and please enjoy the refreshments, enjoy our wonderful students and the demonstrations they have for you, and thank you for being with us tonight.